Hi guys, it's Rach. So today's video is inspired by back to school because I know a lot of my US viewers are about to go back to school, and I also know that a lot of my Aussie viewers have probably just recently gone back to school after the winter school holidays. And I know a lot of my viewers are in high school, and I do get a lot of questions about what makeup to wear in high school, particularly in Australia because we have fairly strict uniform policies and a lot of schools probably aren't allowed to wear a lot of makeup. Some schools may allow more, some schools may allow less. I kind of did this makeup look based on what I would have been allowed to get away with in high school. If I had have known what I know about makeup now then. Because I didn't, I was terrible at makeup. I didn't have an older sister to teach me. YouTube wasn't around then, and my mum wasn't really that into makeup. She doesn't really need it and she doesn't wear a lot of it. So I was kind of just on my own and trying to work it out, and I didn't do a very good job. I can honestly say that. But if then I had have known what I know now, this is what I would have done. And for those of you who are older and who aren't in high school, same as me, I'm out of high school, I'm out of uni, but I would use this look if there was a time where I didn't really need to wear a lot of makeup but I still wanted to have something on my face. So if you have a hot guy that's asked you to go hiking on a date and you really can't rock up in a whole heap of makeup because that would be ridiculous, but you want something on your face, then you could use this look. I just came up with that scenario then. I don't have a hot guy who's asked me to go hiking, but if you do, you can use this look. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and let's get started. Okay, so the reason that I look incredibly unstunning at the moment is because I have a clean face. I've just applied some daily moisturizer. If your moisturizer doesn't have an SPF in it, then I would recommend adding a sunscreen as well and letting that sink in before you put your makeup on, just because if you're at school, it's likely that you're going to be outside and nobody wants to look old before their time. Now the key to a no makeup look is to only apply makeup where you need it. So not to just to apply a full face of makeup just for the sake of it. So because of that, I was originally going to use a concealer as our foundation, but then this product came onto the market. This is the Maybelline Dream Pure BB Cream. It's an 8-in-1 BB cream for oily skin, and it has 2% salicylic acid. And when I was in high school, I suffered from acne. I still suffer from acne now, so that 2% salicylic acid will help treat that. So that's why I thought I would add this to the makeup look today. So I'm going to apply a small amount of this on the back of my hand. You can apply this however you want. You could use your fingers, you could use a brush. I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. When I was in high school, I probably would have used maybe my fingers or maybe a makeup sponge. So what you want to do is apply it again where you need the coverage. So start from the center of your face, just dabbing it on, and then slowly work your way out to where you have any blemishes. You'll find that particularly if you're in high school and you're still suffering from hormonal acne, that a lot of your acne will be concentrated in this area of your face. As you can see, I still get it here. I've got a giant pimple right on my neck, so this is probably where you'll need a lot of the coverage. So you just want to work that BB cream there, and then whatever's left over, then you work that out to the outside parts of your face where you might need a little bit less coverage. If this product isn't available where you are, my second recommendation for a Western BB cream would be the Garnier BB Cream Miracle Skin Perfector for combination to oily skin, particularly the combination to oily skin one. Even if you have dry skin, I think this one is better and gives the best coverage. In this, I wear the shade Light, and in the Maybelline Dream Pure BB Cream, I wear the shade Medium. Moving on to concealer, I specifically chose a high-end product, and there's a reason for this. I didn't have an older sister who could tell me about makeup and who I could maybe borrow makeup from. My mum wasn't really into makeup, and I didn't have this beautiful thing called YouTube to tell me about products and where to buy them and how much they cost, which ones are the best, etc. I had the internet, but I didn't know where to look, and things like this just seemed so far out of my reach. But this Pro Longwear Concealer from MAC is $32 in Australia, which is pricey, but when I was in high school, I actually probably could have afforded this. I had a job when I was in year 11 and 12, so I had money from that. I also had birthday money that I would save up, or pocket money or things like that. So I wanted to tell you guys about this purely because I know I have younger viewers, and when you see people on YouTube use MAC and Chanel and other high-end brands, you may feel like all of them are out of your reach, but something like MAC is is a little bit lower on that price range, and there are certain products where you may want to save up and spend your money on, and this is one that I would recommend. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Again, you don't want to overdo it, but a small amount on the pointy end of the Beauty Blender sponge, just putting it basically underneath my eyes and on any blemishes that I have. You can also use it to make a natural highlight by just dabbing it on the top of your cheekbones here. If the shade's a little bit lighter than your skin tone, then it's just going to give you a little bit of a natural highlight. Add some dimension to your skin without taking away from that natural look. This also lasts quite a while. It's long wearing. It shouldn't crease even underneath your eyes, which I think is fantastic. So if I was going to splurge on a MAC product to add to my daily routine, particularly when I'm in high school and when money is hard to come by because you can't have a full-time job because you are in school and you need to concentrate on studying, then this is one that I would recommend. And I wear the shade NW20. A cheaper alternative is the Rimmel Wake Me Up Anti-Fatigue Effect Radiant Glow Concealer. This is great. It will work great under your eyes. You can use it again as that highlighter, and you can put it on your blemishes as well. I have the shade Very Light Fair here. And then my other recommendation is one that's still pricey but maybe a little bit more easily accessible than MAC if you don't have a MAC account near you and you can't shop online. And that is the Thin Lizzy Concealer Cream. I have the shade Oriental Doll. It gives great coverage. It doesn't crease, and if you sheer it out by using a sponge, it will work and give you a similar effect to the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. What I like about this look is that so far you can still see my natural skin through the makeup. The camera may not pick it up, but I can still see sort of little freckles and just various little dots and things that I have on my face, so it still looks quite natural. Next I'm going on to bronzer, and I'm just doing this to add a little bit of dimension to my face, not to contour, not to really give you that bronzed goddess look. But when you put the BB cream and the concealer, you do take away some of the skin's natural colouring, so you want to add a little bit of that back and add a little bit of warmth. So this bronzer here is the Essence Sun Club bronzer. This is for blondes or lighter skin. I'm clearly not a blonde, but I think that this would work well for anybody with lighter toned skin. I'm using the Sigma Tapered Face F25 brush. I'm just going to swirl it in the bronzer. You just want a little bit, and you're going to do the E3. So you're just going along the hairline, along the cheekbone, and along the jawline. That's all you want. So we're just going along the hairline here, along the cheekbone, and then down the jawline. I'm also going to blend it down the neck just to make it all sort of blend in seamlessly. So that's added just a tiny bit of dimension to my face without making it too obvious. And then I'm just going to take whatever's left over on my brush and just run it down the center of my nose and on my chin just to warm up my skin a little bit. Keeping in with the whole theme of only applying makeup where you need it, I am now going to powder. It's no shock that I'm going to use my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. This is the 001 Transparent, and I'm going to use this using a Real Techniques setting brush. Even if you have dry skin, I would still recommend powdering along the T-zone for school, just because no matter what, you tend to either build up a little bit of oil or even just sweat at school. This will just try and help combat that shine in that T-zone area. I'm also going to do my chin. You want to try and put it on any places that you put concealer. So for me, I put concealer along my jawline because that's where I have blemishes. So I'm going to powder there as well. And then the other thing is to put some powder on your eyelids. This will just set any BB cream or concealer that you put there and just keep them looking matte throughout the day as well. Once that's all on my face, I can still see my skin, but I still feel like I would like to add a little bit of colour to my cheeks. So for that, I would use a light pink toned blush, as I feel like gives the most natural look. It just gives you that natural flushed look. Today I'm going to use the Jordana Rose Silk blush. I'm just going to take it on a blush brush. You don't need an expensive blush brush. Something that you can just buy in your local drugstore will work fine. And you just want to apply it slightly to the outside of the apples of the cheeks and just blend it upwards. That'll give you the most natural look. I'm really only taking a small amount because I still want to keep that no makeup look. The next step is eyebrows, and if there's one thing that I could go back and tell my high school year-old self about makeup, it would be fill in your eyebrows. I wish I had known to do that when I was that age. I just didn't. They frame the face. They seriously will change your entire look. If you do nothing in terms of makeup, if you just maybe put on a little bit of lip gloss and mascara, the other thing that you must do is fill in your eyebrows, or at least groom them so that they look nice. That's my tip for you guys. If you take one thing away from this video, it's filling your eyebrows. So I'm going to use for this the Models Prefer retractable eyebrow pencil. Other options, if Models Prefer isn't available to you, if you're outside of Australia, I would recommend the Maybelline Master Shape by Eye Studio little eyebrow pencil, or the Maybelline Define a Brow eyebrow pencil. So I'm just going to run the little spoolie through the brows, just brushing the hairs the way that they should sit. Then I'm just going to take the pencil and just do little short strokes inside my brows. Now I'm not trying to change the shape at all, I'm not trying to make them thicker, I just want to fill in the inside just so they're a little bit more visible. Particularly if you have lighter brows, you will notice a massive difference with this. Take the spoolie again once you've applied the product just to really run it through. This will make it look the most natural, and because we haven't changed the shape, it still won't be highly obvious that you filled in your eyebrows, so we're maintaining that no makeup look. As for eyes, we weren't really allowed to wear eyeshadow. I don't think we were supposed to. As we got a little bit older, I think they were probably a little bit more lax, but we still weren't supposed to wear a lot on our eyes. So I'm going to keep this very, very simple. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is the Tapered Blending E35 brush from Sigma, and the bronzer that we used earlier. A little bit of that on the tip, and just run this lightly through the crease. The goal of this isn't to actually look like we're wearing eyeshadow, but just to make that crease look a little bit more defined. And this should just blend in with the powder we put on our eyelids earlier. I'm not going to use eyeliner on my upper lash line, but I do want to make my lashes look a little bit fuller naturally. So for that we tightline, and I'm going to use the Rimmel Scandaleyes Khol Kajal in black. However, if you have really, really light eyes and really, really fair eyelashes, I would recommend doing this with the brown shade. So you just want to slightly lift up your eyelid and run this along your upper waterline. Tightlining is another thing that I didn't know about back when I was in high school, but I wish I did, because it really does make your eyelashes look fuller. Another trick I've discovered for fuller looking lashes is to run a little bit of a taupe shade along the upper lash line. So for that I'm using the Maybelline ColorTattoo in Toughest Taupe. This creates a shadow too along your upper lash line and just defines it a little bit more and makes it look a little bit fuller. And of course, because it's the Maybelline ColorTattoo, these will last all day. They shouldn't smudge, shouldn't run, and it will just really make your lash line look more defined. So for this I'm using the Shader Lid E56 brush from Sigma and just really running it into the lash line. You almost want to get it on your lashes so it's just right in there. You don't need too much to really make a difference. Just use your finger just to blend out any lines that you may have there. And then the last thing for our eyes is to curl our eyelashes and apply some mascara. When we were in the lower grades of high school, we really weren't supposed to wear mascara at all. As we got a little bit older, we tended to be allowed to get away with a little bit more, and most people wore mascara. Mascara was one thing that when I was younger, I kind of thought I could skip because I had darker eyelashes. But as I got older, I learned that it really does make a difference. So I would recommend mascara, but there are some ways to make it look a little bit more natural. One I would recommend is the Maybelline Full and Soft Mascara. This is the waterproof version, which I think would be fantastic for high school because it means that it's less likely to run. The thing about this mascara is that it leaves your lashes very soft, not crispy at all, and gives a really natural look. The other mascara that I like is the L'Oreal Telescopic Clean Definition Mascara, and the reason that I like this is that it gives you length, but it doesn't make your eyelashes clumpy, which means that they're less likely to look like they have a lot of mascara on them. So that's what I'm going to use today. I also would suggest skipping the bottom lashes if you can, just to keep the look as natural as possible, and then it's less likely to smudge underneath your eyes. You want to wiggle the mascara wand from the bottom of your eyelashes up to get the whole lash covered. And don't forget those outer lashes because they will really make a difference in opening up your eye. Now the last thing that I want to do is of course add some colour to the lips. Lips was the one thing that we kind of got away with a little bit more in terms of we could wear a lip gloss or we could wear a light colour on our lips. Just something to add a little bit of moisture and a little bit of shine. For me, I think now I would probably actually use a darker colour. And the way that I'd get around this, I'm going to use the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain in the shade Smitten. And instead of applying it directly to my lips, I'm just going to apply a little bit to my finger and then really blend it into my lips. Applying it this way really gives your lips a stain. This will also last quite a long time. These things are long wearing as it is, but by really buffing it into your lips, it will really just make the colour stick. As you can see, that still looks quite natural. I like that my lips have some colour, which for me really brightens up my face. I feel like I look a little bit dead looking when I don't have much colour on my lips. But for me, this just kind of looks like I've had a red coloured ice block or something like that. It's not too overpowering, it's not too over the top. And then just over the top of that, I would probably add some lip balm. I have the EOS lip balm here. I love this one, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of that. And this doesn't add too much shine, but it just adds some moisture and makes the lips feel comfortable. So that completes my no makeup look. Perfect for back to school, particularly if your school is quite strict on how much makeup you can or can't wear. I hope this has been helpful for you, particularly for my younger viewers. I hope this has given you some tips and tricks on how you can wear makeup in the most natural way possible so you can still see the beautiful inner you. If you have any questions about what I've shown you today, or if you want some suggestions of other alternatives if some of the products that I've shown aren't available to you, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you the best that I can. I would also love to hear about what kind of makeup you do wear to school. Are you able to wear this much makeup? Is it too much? Do you have to modify this look to wear less? Can you wear more? I would definitely love to hear about it. I'll have a list of all the products that I mentioned in the description box. And other than that, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you all later. Bye!
I felt like my nerd glasses were a prerequisite for a school video. Because, fun fact, I actually wanted to wear glasses in high school and I just didn't have bad enough eyes to get glasses. But I feel like my IQ raises 10 points just by putting glasses on. What do you guys think? It's just not a school video without a shot in nerd glasses and a pen crease holder. Except now I can't hold them all.